All right. So before we start, anything in your mind that you want to ask, based on your own personal needs, as a group coach or team coach, way out there. Maybe just spend like 10 minutes just talking about it, based it on whatever that we know so far about the group and team coaching. Yeah, anytime I saw something, I don't think I read that before lunch. You put down there, understand the overall client detailed problem. Maybe not detailed, because you can get a detail, but you get a good grip of the problem or the issue before putting in the proposal, yeah. Because your proposal is like a commitment to them already. When they say that, okay, I want this. So sometimes I also made a mistake. After the proposal, then, oh my God, I don't think I can do that in 2 days. I need 3 days. But then the proposal has gone out already. So somehow or another, we have to honor. I mean, I could just go back to them and say, oh, sorry, I I overlooked this or made a mistake. I don't know. It's just not too professional for me to do that. Better to sometimes bite the bullet, and learn from the experience. Because we don't want the starting to be bad already. So therefore, we need to have some details. LE, you're okay over there? Okay, yeah. Nizam, team, Rais. Peter,
Yeah,
you
I'm
come
good.
in, you come out. You're like a Superman, no? Sometimes we see, sometimes we don't. Andy, you okay there? Okay, good. All right. You do have, we can just take on some reflective question of yours. Maybe I've got a question for you all. After completing this journey, the GTC, so how would you want to portray yourself, promote yourself, or what's going to change for you? People who are working in organization like Nizam Rais and also Ali, yeah? To people who are on the outside, like Cindy, Dean, Peter, so Annie also is inside, So I mean, after that, what?
I think for me, Mike, it's really just what I've noticed in Malaysia and in Southeast Asia. There's an increased expectation from client organizations to take on coaches, increasingly so with some level of certification, some credentials, because just like in the training space, there's quite honestly a lot of cowboys out there. And so I think clients are becoming much more savvy in who they select to board. And I think I totally agree with this whole program that there's an increasing openness by organizations to go down the group and team coaching route. It helps to get to an outcome quicker, more cost effectively. And also there's massive amounts of peer learning that can happen as a result of team coaching. So I think organizations are smartening up to it, and I just really wanted to have I wanted to be credentialed in it, as well as having obviously the right practice, the good practice and the best practice in my application.
So that you can tell them that, I'm a certified group and team coach, as opposed to maintaining silent about it.
And have the right method to do it as well. I mean, obviously, I feel I've still got some practice to achieve before I'm able to. I'm fully
of course,
comfortable handling, particularly a team coaching situation. Group coaching, not so much. I think that's a little bit easier, but team coaching is definitely could be quite challenging, particularly when you've got a significant challenge to work with.
Yeah.
Goal.
As you're saying this, something came to my mind as well. Even in your proposal itself, write your proposal like a coach writing it. Don't write your proposal like a consultant or a trainer, write about it. So what are some of those things to watch out for? Coaches, we are less jargonistic, you know what I mean? We don't use lots of jargon. Our language are pretty what they call plain, very simple words, just like what we learned in coaching. We got to ask very simple questions, think simple ways. So we got to reflect that in our proposals. It is like, yeah, that's a coach writing. Yeah, not too much words, but and also a lot of things like it's a kind of practical things that he will say, he will put in the proposal can make him very you're a very practical guy. This is a guy who's practical writing the proposal rather than someone who is, well, I think this guy is very academic, this guy is very theoretical, this guy is blah blah blah. So that also comes out. So a coach who writes a proposal has to write in language that is like, it's really down to earth as much as possible. And cut out all the jargons, cut out all the jargons. Don't use jargons, don't use big words, no. Like I think I saw somewhere. If you want a proposal, it's a big word. It's like, can you chunk it down to something more, more, more nicer, more easier for laymen to pick up? And coaching is really back to the basics, you know what I mean? So we want to use those kind of language as much as possible. And it's very practical.
Mike, I have a question.
Yep.
Right. I was just thinking, like, right, for instance, if someone comes to me and say that, I can do team coaching for a case of like Maxwell situation, right? Say, okay, there's a team coaching solution, or that, I can run a team coaching program for you. Then for me, I would be saying that, like those consultants, right? They are the subject matter experts, and they have a lot of tools that can be used for this, for their program, right? For whatever that they are doing, and the price, let's say, the fee and all that is almost the same. Why would I want to get a coach? So, what will a coach or does does team coaching have an advantage over whatever that I can get consultants to do, because they are doing similar?
Okay. Yeah. So there are two parts to it. We can explain it in writing. I give you a 5-page thing to explain the difference between me and you. I can do that. But that to me is not a very effective way, because like everyone can claim that's just a USP. You claim this, someone say, yeah, I did that, my God, I did that long time ago. So these are things that you can claim. But what they cannot claim is when you are meeting with the client face to face, in your own demeanor, your own style of conversation, live, real time. That's the one that's going to make a difference. So when you are a team coach and you talk like the way a team coach says, you hold yourself so well, you have got all the right, not all the right answers. I mean, at least you have some answers to some of the questions, and you go, oh, okay. You will, they'll be convinced that you are a team coach. So it's very hard to explain. Just like someone asked me during coaching a client, how can I trust you? He asked me. First question, lady, the boss lady. I said, what can I do? You mean you write a paper and tell you how great I am? I'm a Moses or I'm a whatever. I mean, I can't do that, right? I said, just What you see is what you get, So I think that resonated with her. And she said, yeah, so okay, I'm going to watch him. I'm going to be in a coaching with him and all these things. And his behavior and everything else does. So it's the same thing with like how much you want to charge someone a coaching fee. The coaching fee is you. When you say you're 3,000 an hour, then you got to have the kind of behavior of a $3,000 guy. But if you are behaving and talking and all that as someone to his eyes, I mean, in his eyes, I mean, then the guy will say that, wow, 3,000. It doesn't look like one that can command that. I wouldn't pay. Yeah, it's just best for you. You don't have to show them any material that, or certificate that you have gone through it, or tell them how many hours you want to impress. Some coaches like to do that. They want to impress the client. Oh, no, I've done 3,000 hours and all that. Sometimes to me, it's like, I'm never impressed with anyone who's done so many hours. It's a quality. It's a quality of the coaching that counts. So it's really about you when you face the person. So the product is you. In coaching, it's very simple. You are the product. You are the number one product. The second product is the thing that you say that you'll be delivering on which area. You are the number one product. I look at you. I observe you. So that's why I think this particular thing that we are doing right now, the coaching sessions and all that, the team, what do you call, exercise that you are doing, it's really all to bring out, the good part of yourself, which has been displayed, and how we can strengthen that, for greater presence, when we recline. Yep. To me, it's very important. They look at your face, they make a decision. In many cases. Of course, they look at your face and you don't get a contract also because you just don't command that. In their eyes, And client, they thinking, we can't control the way they think, I mean. Even if the bad is going to look at good, I mean, what can I do? I can't do a thing, So we just try to do the more obvious ones that will just get us there. So your language is going to be different, when you are a team coach and group coach. You really have to up your conversation. You really have to. You got to up your thinking. You got to up your conversation. You got to go up to the 30,000 feet high kind of a level. We call it the systemic thinking that we must have. We're going to do that immediately after this. Yeah, we got to, because that will control your conversation. That will control your quality of facilitation. If you have the 5 levels, then you can facilitate. If you're just at 1 level, then you'll be just at that level, and usually it's the technical level, but you're not going higher than that. Yeah, sorry, Cindy, did you raise your hand?
I have a question, a clarifying question. So when we write proposals out to clients, sometimes it is addressed to the HR, because they especially the learning and development people, they are tasked to interview the coaches or hire the coaches even. Whereas in some smaller organizations, sometimes it's the MD himself or the GM himself or the CEO, right? And in my experience so far, I think the proposal, the wordings needs to be different. What do you think?
Yeah, it used to be that, Cindy. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, we really have to be, you can use the word, quite bombastic and it kind of impress. But that was like those old era. And as you go on, like today, you pick up a very good book from very Amazon or what. My God, their writing is so simple. It draws you, It kind of like, the way they write, it catches your emotion, touches you. And not like those, when you read, it's just for hate purpose. They're able to have a dialogue with you just using their words. And what kind of words are there that can have that kind of dialogue? It's usually the simple word. And that simple word is something that is universal. At the highest level and to the lowest level, even right now, but like me, okay, I got all those kind of degree. But you ask me to read a letter, you see a letter, wow, the jargon, I was kind of like, No, I'm not. I don't want to read that. But I'll pick up something. Hey, okay, this is quite cool, huh? Yeah, and I really like it. I get impressed. So it's like almost like everything is towards simplification again. And that's the world today. The apps are made very simple. Life is made so much simple. Everything is simple. So simplicity is the way to go. So our proposals must be very structured, very methodological, simple words, bullet points if possible. Just dot, 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 you know. The spacing is like quite, the proper paragraph, really pleasing to the eyes. They are very important stuff to think about. And that will get you to the door. No? So many people, they can't even get through a proposal because their proposal is not good enough. Huh? And it doesn't bring out that person. You may be very good, but you don't write a proposal. You write a proposal like those days in the 90s, where we really have to show off our English, so to speak, really. I give you an example. This is not a boast by anything else. My sister is a linguist, and she's one of the. I mean, she's quite well known in the world. You read her English, even her her letters to me, her WhatsApp messages, everything is like, oh my God, it's so simple. That's a PhD, is linguist guy. In that simple English, anyone can understand. And they write so well. It's very engaging. It engages you. So you got to write in that way. Whenever we can. There are certain parts where we just try to, do it well. Makes a lot of difference. So getting to the door of a client is really your one-to-one interview. I mean, the exchange that you have. And also, of course, a proposal that, not bad. Let me let me meet up with him. You want to get to that. And when you get into him, then, you have a chance to show them and display to them the kind of person you are. And so that increases your chance of, I think Peter does a lot of that. Yeah, Peter. So Peter, yeah, I think your engagement is pretty good, huh? I see you in TikTok. No, I think that's nice, man. You really know how to do it well, man. Very, huh? But that's really important, lah.
Keeping me busy, yeah.
Yeah,
But ultimately, the course now, what I'm doing here with you, is also to. I'm now 5 years with Whitetail as a consultant, so it seems they are happy. But at the end of the day, after so long, I also need to up my game, isn't it? I need to make sure things getting better, things improve. So I
Yeah.
basically need to keep the value up to a level where others have tough time to compete.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's right.
and you can apply this in every day. Actually, what I just learned, the awareness about the course, what we learn here, we can apply this in every meeting. Every meeting can be
Yeah.
better facilitated, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's actually great stuff. You don't need to be a coach first and go out maybe afterwards. You can apply this just on a daily basis.
yeah, that's right. There's one best practice in team and group coaching is this: be simple, but not simplistic. It's in the first 2 pages of your module 1. Be simple, simply, but not simplistic. Don't underestimate the problem, but you're able to put it into simple terms. And to be simple is tough. To be difficult is easy. Because why? Because when you are simple, you got to think very hard. How can I be simple? But you don't have to think. I mean, they just come out the way it comes out. I don't do anything. But if I tell myself I'll make it simple, there's a lot of work to be done. It requires creativity. It requires innovativeness. If you don't have that, it won't go. Just keep sharpening, lah. And yeah, it's so important. Okay, so now let's come back to our lesson here. So today, until 5 o'clock, we are just going to be learning, just learning. Actually, we should have started a bit earlier, but because of the interesting presentation, we are delayed by an hour or two. But no problem, we're not going to rush. Okay, we will still go through it right up to 5 o'clock, and then tomorrow we come back, and then you will then know what assignments to do and all that. But today is just pure that. And this is a new module called module 3. That's right, module 1, 2, 3. Yeah, module 3. So module 3 is known as tools and techniques. The earlier module 1 and 2 are basically on structures like proposals, program design, you know what I mean? Best practices, you know, ICF competencies. We're going to get to that level to understand the fundamentals of group and team coaching. That's what we did. Structures, lots of structure. So now we are going into the other aspect, more of the skill side of things, mindsets and skills training in ourselves to carry out what we just said, what we just went through, the design. How do we design? So if you have got a proper mindset, then your design work is going to be greater. If not, then it's going to be lesser, and all that. We talk about facilitation, a coach need to facilitate. So now we're going to learn the skill of facilitation. Then we can facilitate at a very high level. At a very high level, definitely we have to go a very high level, at a level whereby we, in a way, inspire people to want to answer. So we're going to spend today and tomorrow just on that, and that would have like completed the all that you need to know about group and team coaching, except for one part that we'll do when we meet again. That's the platform, the virtual platform side, which is very straightforward. You're all using it, but we just go through that in our next module. But otherwise, we would have covered all the tools, the techniques, the skills side of things by tomorrow. Okay. So it's a day of learning, but we will stop here and there for some questions and all that. And we are going to make reference also to your case study. So it's going to be like pretty interactive learning. Okay, so let me get to the slide. Oh. My apology to you first before I begin. My slides are a bit mixed up. I was just trying to do some changes here and there, and then it kind of like got a little bit messed up. So bear with me, when I tell you, forget about this, forget about that. You try to pardon me for that. Okay, let me get to this part here. Yeah. So as you are. Module 3, tools and techniques. Okay, so these are all the things that we want to learn about. Skills in all these areas. Team culture building, idea creation, multi-level communication, relating to listening.
Mike, sorry, are you sharing a slide, or do you believe you're sharing a slide?
Oh, sorry. I should be sharing that. I didn't. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, please do tell me that. Yeah. Okay, so these are the 6 things. Multi-level communication is very important because you will look at the various ways of asking questions for team coaching and how to listen at the team level. Okay, collaborative problem solving. It's problem solving, nothing changed. But now that you're getting everybody together to solve a problem, so we have to understand that collaborative aspect of problem solving because it's a team. And it's almost inevitable. Conflicts will arise. Somehow or another, disagreement and all that. So let's try to understand a little bit about conflict resolution. Prevention is more of that. It's prevention, it is management, it is resolution. There are 3 areas of conflict. And then, of course, closing.
Mike, can you change to
okay.
presentation mode?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why today.
No, it's okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Wait, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So key objective, critical thinking. Yes, we have to really think critically, much more deeper. We got to go deeper in our thinking and higher in our thinking. We have to be more innovative and creative with our ideas, with our areas of our program areas. Come up with areas where trainers and consultants never thought of, and because you're a coach, you found one area that is so important that very few people talk about it, and you present it as one of your areas in the program. Wow, that becomes like your proposal, you know, is a step ahead of many. And adopting this holistic perspective in our facilitation, okay, which is equal to the systemic perspective or way of asking questions at 5 levels. You are able to ask questions at 5 levels on the same thing, on the same thing. Then, of course, we learn about this conflict. Then later on, of course, you use that to enhance your delivery of the 4 case studies in all in case 3. Yeah? Okay, first and foremost, systemic team culture. And that's what we would need to build with yourself, your own group. And also, of course, when you are in team coaching, you try to do that, you know, for the rest. Okay, a collaborative work environment of interdependence. I need you, you need me. We cannot do it alone by ourselves. There's a collective responsibility where the team and individual work together towards a common goal, towards sharing of resources, sharing of our knowledge, sharing in our responsibilities. So a team coach, we have this responsibility to have to do that, because otherwise the team coaching doesn't work, because nobody is in agreement with anybody. And there's a lot of ill feeling, you know, in the group, in the team. So it's a no already. So as a coach, we need to understand this ourselves and be able to do that. So this team culture that we're going to talk about basically is in 3 areas. Okay, first is the environment itself. Okay, very important. Let's talk about that. And it's about your environment as well, where you are right now in working together. How systemic are you? And then, of course, the mindset, the way you look at things, your perspective, and the perspective would therefore help you to come up with the kind of questions, you know, to facilitate well. And then the other thing is the agility practices which have changed. I think in your notes it's called agility strategies, but I thought practices is a better word. Okay, and we're going to learn this all through this 3 case study. So please remember the case study. Maxwell on the remote team, Power Plus on the marketing alignment, and Pamco on trust. Okay, have those things in mind. All of us, all the 3, because I'm going to ask you for examples of questions to ask and all that. Okay, first step. The work. First thing is this: the work environment. And work environment starts when you set some really good ground rules. Set the ground rules right. It's not a place where, just like in contracting, when we're doing personal coaching, we spend a lot of time on contracting. So this is really contracting. So spend some good amount of time on this. Set your ground rules. Okay, things that will encourage people to, you know, for this environment to flourish. Everybody's an equal. Even if a CEO comes in a team coaching session, he becomes an equal of the rest. If he want to come in down there and start to order around, assisting you, you know, to run the game, to run the session, it's going to fail. It's going to fail. Huh? But in group coaching, he can still be there. It's all right because he's a boss. Huh? So from a learning perspective, yeah, if that's going to be a leader down there, yeah, he can be there because everybody is learning. But in a collaborative environment, when you have someone who is like more higher up than the other, that's it's gone. So that would be a pretty good ground rule to set. Yeah, people should be allowed to finish what they want to say. It's a lot of respect to empower people. And all thoughts are considered to have equal value. Yeah, even though it's a differing view, we put all the three together and we say like, okay, let's the three of us, and we know that this is something that we will need to do. So what are you prepared to give in a little, for us to reach a consensus? So okay, what do you want to give in? Okay, you give in here, you give in here, you give in. Okay, now we have got an equal product that we all claim, or an idea that we all claim that our idea rather it's his idea or her idea. Yeah. Enthusing. In coaching, we call it enthusing. Wow, that's a great idea. We can say that. Wow, never thought of that. Hey, that's pretty cool. Okay, whatever. Okay, these are all great stuff. You have to create that a collaborative environment. And lower your sense. Don't think too hard logically, in other words. Let your mind expand. You know, is to get rid of your filters. Be less invalidated. Okay, 8 frames. Be less invalidated to look at things as there's one way, but letting your mind flow, there's another good way for us to have creativity. Now, what other good ground rules should there be to build a collaborative, systemic environment? And it can be something very original. You don't have to follow any book if you have one.
What was the question again? Sorry, I cut out with the internet.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Christine, or what would be other Christine, apart from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that could also be considered as good ground rules to build that, systemic work environment.
What about something along poker face? Don't show non-verbal language that might convey an adverse message.
Okay, that's a negative. Turn that into positive. Same thing, team, but say it in a positive. Instead of like, we are not allowed to, or that's on a negative. How do you turn that into a positive? So it's a positive ground rule setting. That's good. What would that be? So we got to be pretty agile in our thinking. Okay, example would be like, we welcome a smiling face always. Something like that, I mean. So it's like very cool, huh? It's example lah. What else?
Is this on the same one? The
Yeah,
positive?
same thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want it to be like we use simple language. That can be a ground rule as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know what I mean? Just build something that will make people, where the environment is very, very cozy and very motivating, and it's not like so difficult. It's like so tough and all that. Very, very light. I mean, to get people into the kind of right mood, in a cool mood. Okay, just think of that. So I do not know whether any of this should be also be part of your ground rule that you may just want to set for yourself, in moving forward. Okay, think about that. Think about that. What we want, one good ground rule that we want to have for ourselves in moving forward to the final stage of our journey. Now, okay? So that's the first thing. Set the stage right. The second thing is the systemic mindset. So what's the systemic mindset? Basically is able to, think at 5 levels. At the personal level of what is happening. People are fighting, in Maxwell, finance department, not talking to, the content department. There's a guy called Ahmad and a guy from the social media side called so-and-so. We are not talking very well. Personal side. So you ask questions like, hey, what is happening? Why can't you talk to this guy? What is it that is making it difficult for you to deal with him? You're able to get that. You're able to get that. Then you raise your level of asking questions in any perspective, any perspective at the interpersonal level. Okay. So what would be some questions that you ask at the interpersonal level? If the personal level is about what is going on right now with yourself, your family, your working life, then at the interpersonal level, what will we be dealing with?
Their relationships with other people.
Relationship, that's right. Relationship with other people. Okay. What would be a question you ask here? Any question. So you probably ask a question, let's give you a zoom in, you think of the rest. So how long has this conflict been going on between you and him, interpersonal? What have you done so far? We do that in coaching as well, right? In person. And what have you done so far to overcome it? That's another interpersonal question. Another question on interpersonal. What is still missing in your action or in your in your efforts or whatever it is, interpersonal? So we can question around interpersonal and a lot of questions. Just like personal, we can ask questions like, so what's your value? What are your usual thoughts in you? And then how do you normally go around, living your life? What is your personal goal? Okay, we will know how to ask that kind of question at personal level and also interpersonal level. Now, any other question at interpersonal? Just try out. Then we know.
Michael, does it mean that this interpersonal and personal is at the one-on-one?
Yeah, that's right. Personal is yourself. It's your daily habits, your personal goals, your values, your own internal conflicts that you have, your assumptions, your belief, and because that will affect a lot of things. Okay, and they can be asked in many ways. Then of course you have the team, your work group. In the case of life, is your family, okay? Your family unit. The interpersonal is you and your son, or you and your daughter, or whatever, or you and your wife. The team is. So you have raised your level of thinking to a team level. So what would be question that we ask at a team level?
How long have you all been working together on fixing this?
Okay. How long have you been working together as a team? And how's it going on now? What binds you all together? What is disuniting you? What's your team goal? Okay. Now, any of those kind of question at the team level, you'll be able to ask, depending on which perspective you are, which context that you're dealing with. Okay. Oh, and then the organization, putting everything together. So if it's an organization, then your question would be, typical question would be, how aligned is your team goals to that of the organization? What's the organization goal? And what's your team goal? How aligned they are? So we can also ask questions relating to this. What is it that the company wants from its people? Are we with the company on this? Beyond. How does your team see the organization? Your personal, how do you see the organization? I can go down to the person, I can go to the team as well. So you can move up and down. Okay. And of course, at the highest level, in a book, it says reputation, but I just realized that I should put in the word here, the purpose. The purpose of your existence. And reputation is everything, you know what I mean? Reputation is it's your image, your brand, you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by a reputation. What do you want to be known as, you know? What do you want to achieve, you know, in the longer term, you know? How do you want your customers to perceive you? You know? How do you want your employees to perceive you, perceive your organization? Okay, that's reputation. But it's beyond money. So we are able to raise that from a first level right up to the fifth level. So just basing on this, now I'm going to give some questions here.
Michael, so this is about the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Where you raise a person's self-awareness to a higher need, but it
That's
has
right.
got a system where the ecosystem goes up and up.
That's right. Good. Thanks for telling me. So it's like saying, when you're in team coaching, your team or your group can never be in isolation. They are part of an ecosystem. We are all part of an ecosystem. So you go beyond a single entity to look at the bigger picture, and that's called the holistic side. The ecosystem can be your family is an ecosystem. If you're a Christian, then your church community or your mosque community is a part of an ecosystem. Your social friends is part of a system. So we all define our system. If you're a biker, then all the bikers are part of your ecosystem because you're a biker and you mix around with them and so forth. So we got to ask that. So question that we ask somebody personal, but we want to make it into let's say something that is part of an ecosystem is like, how is your behavior affecting others? How is getting this goal affecting other people in your life? Okay, so you make that person also see things from an ecosystem perspective or a holistic perspective. So these are just some questions, some questions. You can start at the higher level. Sometimes you do that from reputation onwards. But of course, you can also start from the beginning, which I like to, because then you can expostulate, you can expand from that, and you can go higher and higher. So you're able to expand that, So, like for instance, when I was looking at developing this program with Joe, we asked ourselves this question: what are my personal learning objectives, which I basically refer to each one of you all? What is it that you want to learn? What do you really want to know about the group and team coaching? And how do I want to learn it? You know what I mean? And what are those areas that are important to me? So these are all personal. Me. It's about me. It's about me and a mind and an I. Okay. So you can also do that self-reflective and just on yourself. Oh, okay, let me look at the two first. Huh? Let's look at two. Interpersonal. There you are. You can see all the answers there. Relationship, communication, plus a lot other things. Just mount through it, huh? Mount through it. Because afterwards, you're going to do an exercise, huh? Sorry. Organization, and then, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit mumbo jumbo, but I hope you get an idea as to what it is, huh? Now, I'm going to turn this off for a while. Just give me a second. And I'll go back to the case study so that we can have some learning from here. Okay. I want to shoot this out and say that now you are with this organization, Maxwell. Hmm? What happened? Just give me a second. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Why? Why would I click and get somewhere else? Sorry. Okay. Maxwell. I'd like to I'd like you all to share. If let's say you're right now with the group, the remote team, together, together, and they are going through a program. They're going through a program in group coaching, and maybe the program is called collaboration. Let's say, actually, no collaboration, collaboration we call it. Okay, just give it a name. Okay, collaboration. So it's about collaboration because you can see from here, one of the key things is they're not collaborating very well. So collaboration here also means communication and all that. And you want to help them. And you're right now in a session. You're doing a group coaching session. So what would be a question that you ask these guys who are there in the class right now with you at the personal level? I give you one to think of the rest. So I will ask, okay, let's say Tim. Tim, can I ask you this question? Tim, how do you normally communicate with your colleagues? Okay, so it's about Tim. How do you normally communicate? Then after that, why do you communicate in this way, right? You'll probably ask that question. You probably ask that kind of question, and you listen to Tim's answer to it. So what other question can you think of when you ask, people at the Maxwell? At the personal level.
How do you feel about the way other people communicate with you?
That's interpersonal. You can, it's good, but keep it there first. But very close to it, very close to your question, I would have probably a question. Do people, do people approve of the way you communicate? Yeah, do they like the way you keep yourself serious? You do. What do you think of it? Or why are you so serious? When you communicate, and the set goes well. So you ask, very quickly. I think so. From a personal, somehow or another, you will jump into the interpersonal already. Okay. What other question can you think of? Let's combine the two, personal and interpersonal. Make it faster.
Michael, can we ask those questions in a group setting?
Yeah, why not? You do. Remember in group coaching, it's just like, okay, just like we do our CPT, our orders coaching program. What do? We also do things like, in the afternoon, we have live coaching sessions, you know what I mean? Where people volunteer, okay, I want to be a coachee. There they are, they start coaching on their issue. So there will always be moments where you have some kind of a coaching going on also in group coaching. But it's not like a training. That's why if you just do training of this coaching method, then people will say, yeah, there's a trainer in action. It's not a coach, because there's no demonstration of coaching that you are doing. You know what I mean? And you build, and you build, and you build.
So Michael, when
something for
you are asking one particular person in a group, or you are throwing the question out.
yeah, I can throw the group. Okay, I would like all of you to write in a piece of paper, anyone out there, how do you normally, or who do you say you are? The first question, So we can do that. So it can be done in a group basis and also on an individual basis. It's like some kind of sometimes like an assessment test that they do privately by themselves, you know what I mean? So, okay, never mind. Interpersonal? Christine? Maxwell? Typical Christine? What is your relationship with your colleagues in it? Typical. And then, if it's related to the Maxwell case, then what will be your question?
Mike, could you ask where do you believe misunderstandings come from?
Where do you believe? Yeah, that's also an interpersonal question between you and so and so. It's not open in the air. It's between you. Yeah, come from. Or you can be general as well. Normally, people in the organization, when they have good relationship, they are they are good, they have that relationship, good relationship because of what? And if they don't have a good one, then usually is what? Okay, I can ask at interperson level. Question?
Sorry, so this back again to my same question. So we are being very open and transparent.
Some aspect. If it's just a small aspect, it's not like a full-blown coaching, Cindy. That one we do more into the team coaching. This is like you also need them to like they experience the group coaching, and they're learning something from their own behavior. Rather than everything they do is like learning from the notes. But there's no what you call it's like a self-assessment test that you're giving to them, but you're doing that verbally.
But you do just now you mentioned they write on a piece of paper, but is it must like okay when they write on a piece of paper there's some form of privacy. But what about them getting them to verbally respond?
I mean, you can ask it maybe general way, not in particular about myself, but you may ask, the people here in the company. How do people, generally, behave? Which is equal to, yourself, but then you want to make it open. Why? Because you want them to learn from their experience, the things that is happening in the organization.
So
Because
we have
otherwise,
to be quite tactful lah.
huh?
We have to be quite tactful in
Yeah, and you've got to be very
phrasing our
tactful. That's right.
questions.
Yes, and yeah, and then one of the key practice of GTC is this trust building. So when there's no trust in the environment, collaboration won't. You trusting you as the facilitator, and for each one of them to trust one another. So when you don't have that, and you see that that's not happening, of course, then you don't ask those questions, because it's wrong timing. And especially let's say you're having a group coaching session is about building relationship, and these people are people that are not good in their relationship with one another. So then I want to ask this kind of question this way, like I just mentioned to you, because the context is so different. You know what I mean? It's not like every question you can go. So you just got to. I mean, just like if you're in life coaching, then you'll be asking questions relating to life of the person, like, so what's your value? What are your own personal, what they call a self-living belief of yours? Okay, I go along that way. Then we know that we cannot do life coaching just on that person. This person, whoever the person is, who is having a life coaching support, relationship with you, has also an ecosystem. So we have to also expand on that. Then our life coaching become very systemic, Otherwise, our coaching is like just he and his feeling, and we're not relating it to the bigger environment, Then we don't help. That's where people don't get that kind of creativity, because there's no latitude, I think it's so narrow on the person, and you're not expanding the person's mind to also to realize that, whatever that he believes in, has to be related to the bigger thing, whether that's acceptable or not, Then people make changes to their value system and all that because of why benchmark against, the outside world. He realized that, his belief system is a misfit. Then only he know that it's a misfit, So therefore, you need to change, So that's what I mean by you always have to expand higher in their thinking. Okay, what about team? Okay, personal, interpersonal. In the team, Maxwell. A question could be,
how are your interactions impacting your ability to achieve your team goal?
a bit general. Too general. Make it specific. Link it back to a department.
How
Okay.
are your behaviors aligned to the team goal?
How is your team behavior? Your team behavior, okay, you also can team behavior affecting the other team. Because remember in Maxwell, the remote teams are not talking to one another and all that. Okay, or how is that, really? I mean, how well is this going with the team in Bangladesh, in London, in this? So you can ask those kind of questions. Which country do you have the most issue with? Okay, so you then also really what you call coach them from a team perspective of remote teams, the Malaysian team against the Singapore team and the what team and all and so forth. So then they're on team. Then it's very clear. If you follow? So what other question on team?
Mike, can I just ask a question around the earlier excellent questions from Tim and Cindy around team behavior? Would it, if one were to say though, how is your team behavior affecting another team? Does that start slightly negatively? And I wonder in that concept of building trust.
Yeah, of course they change it.
Start with a slightly broader question that's less
Agree. I was just shooting it out from my head, that's all. Yeah, but of course, in saying it out, I mean, you're going to be very tactful to make sure that, it doesn't hurt anyone's feeling. We're just trying to do the demonstration of just that. Okay, let's say you want to ask it in a more tactful way. Yeah, of course. Okay, question like, how aligned is your team behavior with the other team? Better here. Is that better, Karen? Affecting maybe a big, a tougher word, huh? But how aligned, how synchronized, both. What are the values that are putting you all together, and what are the values that are, I don't know, something like that. Of course, we're going to be very careful with our choice of words and all that. So don't take my choice of word for it. I just want to see, what you're thinking, just the thinking part of it all, huh? Just shutting it out, Okay, organization. So now you're raising it up to an organization. This guy, Michael, that you asked me things like, at the lower level of myself. Now you're taking me up, blah blah blah. Now you're on an organization level. So what kind of question do you ask at the organization level?
Can I ask, what part do you see yourself as in the organization?
Yeah. It's like you put it there, it's like saying, what are your contribution to the organization? Yeah. Contribution to the team? Yeah, you can say that. You can also say contribute to the organization. Bigger. So the team is like, okay, I work together and produce this result. But for the organization, because we team work so well together, we deliver great value to the organization. Yeah. So there you are. You look at things at the organizational level. So we got to have that kind of language, Okay, what is another? Maxwell. Maxwell could be what? What does the organization want all of you to be? Maxwell. And how satisfied are all of you with the result? What's the goal of the organization? And why do you think the organization want to have this as a goal? Then you take it up to organization level. As you can see, the bandwidth of your question become wider. Otherwise, we only have got one bandwidth just on the personal level, and we cannot go beyond that. And we are able to take it up higher and higher and higher. Okay, then come to the last part, the reputation or the purpose, we call it. What are we there? It's still around it. Typical question, is Maxwell currently enjoying a good reputation in the marketplace? I think I asked that question. Other question?
How do other stakeholders view Maxwell?
Yeah. How do they view Maxwell as an organization? The customers, or the suppliers, or the this, or the that, okay? And if you dive it down to the personal level and the team level, and how is the reputation been affected by our team collaboration? How is our team collaboration, affecting or influencing the reputation of the organization today? Which part? I mean, sometimes we ask that. Which part do we want to take the blame? Which part do we want to take the credit? I mean, again, reputation, huh?
So, Michael, we toggle the different levels of questions. We toggle them around.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're in team coaching, one of the deliverables of team coaching is they actually get back something at the end of the day. They get a manual, they get a template, they get whatever it is, okay, from standard procedures. They get whatever, they get a plan or whatever it is. All these plans and all these things, in team coaching, that if you're a team coach, you're building a plan for them or helping them to have a kind of mechanism or whatever it is. You as a coach, you got to take it all to all the 5 levels to consider for that particular plan or system to be viable, because you have considered, as a team coach, you have taken into account all the aspects, and not just looking at from a team level, but not looking at the organization, and not looking at the reputation, not looking at the marketplace, you're not looking at any of those things. Then then this team coach is quite myopic in terms of their thinking, very, very shallow. But the moment you can expand that, then you provide great value to your client. You're very holistic, in the way you help them to attain a goal.
Hey, Mike, how do you go about doing that? How do you capture all of this without recording it or getting it transcribed?
Oh, you record it. You record it. In in the case of team coaching, we record. There'll be a whiteboard down there, and there we are entering the things down there. Or we actually have a scriber, somebody that you engage, team, your assistant, and she's there, maybe attached, the laptop to the screen, and she's typing, and when she taps, it's on the screen, and everybody looking at the screen as well. So it's live.
Okay, so you don't actually record the audio, you just capture everything.
Yeah, you can, of course, we all agree that we should go and record it, then you record it,
So that would be that you'd need a contract for that. You
need a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also it's quite tough, huh? You record an 8-hour session, and then after that you got to go through it, team. If I capture it on live, huh?
There's a lot of tools that auto transcribe, right? So that makes
you can do that,
you still got to filter it.
Yeah, you still need to filter. I mean, there's work to be done, lah. Okay.
So that must mean that coaching, you must charge a hell of a lot more and a different price.
Of course. A team coaching thing is, because I mean, it's like you don't have any material to develop. You have developed on the spot. You got to look at Maxwell and start telling yourself which you're going to do. Tomorrow I'll let you know what you have to do. You're going to start figuring out, what is it that they need in terms of a resource, to help them with their collaboration. If let's say, assuming Maxwell is going through a team coaching, I mean, so it's like there's a lot more work to be done, though. It requires a lot of critical thinking. There's nothing to, I mean, you can borrow from a book here and there, but you still have to modify it to suit the organization. So it's a much more higher level.
Let's say we only have 2 or 3 in a team, can we still call it a team coaching?
Yeah, especially if you're 2 or 3, it's made up of the MD and the 2 GM. Wow, that's like everything already. At the higher level, huh?
Michael, I was looking at this, when we run the coaching with an individual, right? So the organization appoints us as a coach, then, we spell out, we have the coaching agreement and all that. And that session is very short. And it's a one-off session, right? Like usually, and then it can run for a period of a year or so,
Yeah. Oh,
But
yo.
for him, this one is like whole day.
Yeah. Yeah. The longest session, I mean, even in my case, let's talk about personal coaching that I do. I think I never spend less than 3 hours with a single client to contract. I spend 3 hours though, and it's 2 sessions usually, or sometimes if they pay me double, then we just take it through. There's a lot to discuss. They want you for a year. You have to really think very carefully about it.
That's a lot of commitment also from our end, right?
Where? You mean the coach?
The coach.
Of course. Of course. You mean to say you can go in there without commitment?
Are
There's a
there
lot of commitment.
sessions that can run shorter than, like this kind of duration that, all our the presentation is like running for 6 months, whatever?
Yeah, you can also do a team coaching in 3 days, in 2 days. If the whole idea is to develop, let's say, a performance system for the organization, and the key people are in there, you want to develop that, and it's a 2-day program. You go through it, visioning a new vision for the organization as a team coaching. Yeah, you can do that as well. You know what I mean? But what we are also trying to do when we are in team coaching is to develop the people in that organization so that they can become team coaches for their people. So that's the other part of it all. No, it's not you are the team coach to them, but you are also developing the people down there who are recipient of your team coaching to actually learn team coaching from you, watching you, so that they can go out there to become a team coach as opposed to a traditional manager to their people. And one of the value proposition is that you actually helping their managers to really know how to lead and develop the team. No? And that is a value proposition. No? Okay. You've got it? The whole idea of it all to raise that. I was thinking of going through one more, like Power Plus. Let's say you take Power Plus. What would be some of those questions that you ask, let's say, at the reputation side? Power Plus is what? Power Plus is the one that has this misaligned marketing department. Okay, you know that. Okay, what would be question that you ask at the personal level? Bear in mind the case study. When you link it back to a case study, it's not general question. Personal level, what is your role in the organization? Your role. Well, it's a personal question. Which part of marketing are you in? Are you in the social media side, or are you in the content side, or where are you in your department? Okay, that is a personal question. Interpersonal, who do you work with most? From which department? Who do you work with most? Who is dependent on your work? That is interpersonal. Team. I'm referring back to the case study. So when you talk about team,
How do you
so what?
how do you communicate among the team members?
Yeah, how do you communicate among the team members? Relating to work process, what's the process like in your team in communication? You say that you are in the content department, right? Now, can you chart out how do you all communicate with one another? Chart it out, because remember you are in a team coaching section to help with alignment. So you want to, number one, make sure that all of you in your own department are aligned first before we talk about alignment with the other department. Let's get our own act together first. Okay, so you ask them a team question around that. Okay, and then now you take it up to levels of organization. So then, what will be your question? So the organization is what? The organization is the marketing department, where the various team, the content team, the social media team, and the creative team, I think so, the three of them coming together, that is organization. It's a composite of the various departments. So what would be your question at the organization level? Same question that Cindy asked. How do you all communicate? There, how does your team communicate with the other department? So one level higher already. And you have to listen now to the answers now, because you're going to pick out those opportunities for improvement. You're going to pick up a lot of things from the way they describe it. And as long as they are very, very truthful to you and to everyone, then we get to really nail the issue. Then, question on the reputation side, what would be your question? Reputation, purpose.
As the marketing side of Power Plus, how would the public look at you? How would the public look at Power Plus?
Yeah. What is the public perception of PAMCO? How is PAMCO, what is PAMCO to the people, the customers? Does PAMCO enjoy a good reputation? Organization. So you realize when you go up, you'll be touching on things that are much more strategic, but when you're at the bottom, you are usually onto things that are like more logistic, more simple, more tactical, as opposed to the higher one, you'll be on the more strategic aspect. And you must be able to go up, go down, go in the middle, and all that. So that agility is really important for coaches to have. Okay, so this is one area to take note of. Let's move on.
Wait, Michael, I have a question. I don't know
okay.
whether the participant has this question. Now you are at questioning stage. So when they provide you with answers, will your next lesson cover what kind of response to provide to the incumbents?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, at the reputation stage, you ask, how does the public look at PAMCO, let's say? So their answer could be anything, okay? Not so good, etc., whatever. Then how are you covering what to respond or not in your next lesson plan?
You're talking about in actual plan?
In your lesson plan later on, the topics that you're covering?
Wait,
I don't know whether all of you have this issue or not.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be covering that, because it's more for you to now think about it, and come up with whatever that because you have to deliver anyway. You deliver. What I've done right now is basically to trigger your thoughts, to let you think that you have to elevate a question. But I won't be able to give you answer, because my answer to this particular thing could be different from somebody else's too. You know what I mean? And it's not like their way is wrong and my way is right. There's so many ways of doing that. So it will not cover I've now also give you the answer. I'm just trying to trigger you to think of the question, but I can't do that. Time, and also, it's like, it can be anything for that matter. No?
So, Michael, you're saying like that based on those questions, we go back to our fundamental coaching competencies, think on our active listening and think on our feet.
Yeah. and and then you listen to the answer. Of course, we say we have the question, but we have to listen to the answer. No, we don't know what the answer is coming up from. You know what I mean, but we have to listen to the answer. No, so we're still back to personal coaching, but just that when you ask them for the answer, 3 people will be answering at the same time. It's like, how do you manage 3 people who are having, who's going to speak at 3 different times, and when 3 different answers are different from one another, how do you mitigate? How do you help to bottom line as to which is the right one? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So essentially, there's a lot or a fair bit of executive coaching embedded into the team.
Very much. It's actually executive coaching, but it's just that you're doing it in a group,
Mm.
You're just doing it in a group, that's all. Yeah, very much so. Or leadership coaching, we call it, no?
Michael,
The people, huh?
Michael.
Yep.
So after we ask those questions, what you are saying is we don't have to do anything about their answer on the spot yet.
No. You have to listen to the answer, and the answer must make sense to you.
Okay, let's say the answer makes sense. I think essentially that's what Joe was asking, because we ask these multi-level questions and they provide an answers to each of those. What do we do on the spot? Because these are in the initial state, right?
So that's where we this morning we did things like bottom line. We have the bottom line. Let's say assuming right now, in the case of whatever, okay, let's say say you're on PUMCO, okay, it's in this align, okay, this align. So what do you think is one of the things that they require? The big boss calling you in. What do you think the boss wants you as a team coach to do for them? Among many, but what would you want?
Build a harmony workplace, build trust among the teams.
Okay, that's an objective. Okay, that's an objective. But team coaching has a deliverable one. No? When you talk about, like have a better relationship, these are more like group coaching, where they learn a couple of things. This one you gotta have something. Like for instance, you're going to have a PUMCO interdepartment communication system. That means it is embedded in the form of standards. And in team coaching, you always have that sort of thing, like a team charter, like what Ken was saying. Yeah, you usually have a team charter, and you spend like 10 hours on it, So let's say assuming you are on the team charter, okay, and I'm going to use that 5 level of questioning at the personal level to the highest level. I can also do that. I can bear in mind it's all about team charter, but I will have to take my people through the 5 levels in order for me to come up with a really good team charter. I cannot just go on one and build a team charter. So I have to look at all the 5 levels so that I have a holistic, a foolproof team charter. You know what I mean? So since the team charter is the one that you are going to build. So therefore, what will be your question at the personal level? Or you can take it at the highest level. Okay, take it at reputation. From a team charter perspective, then what will be your question? PUMCO, let's say, we take it at reputation. And these guys are not aligned, everybody's blaming one another.
What is the purpose for us being here today in this session?
Okay.
I'm talking about PUMCO, sorry.
Today, if you ask me as a team, as a part of a team, to come up with a team charter, to come up with something that we all can agree on. Okay, that's probably my answer.
Okay, so from the level 5, the follow question would then be, what would you like to put in your charter? Oh no, sorry. Rephrase my question. What is the image, or what is the message that your charter is conveying to your stakeholders?
What do you want your charter to convey to your stakeholder?
Okay, what do you want your charter to
What do
convey?
you want? Your desired outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then your team charter, let's say team charter, assuming it's just this team charter is only for the 3 sections, the content side, the social media, and the creative. I think so. These are the 3. Then you will have, breaking up the team charter, you will have things like this particular department, sub-department will provide or do or don't do. And then the other department do and don't do and so forth. So therefore, the kind of question that you'll be asking will be relating to more of the team. Like for instance, what does your team want to give? What does your it's like what question is that? What does your team want to do differently now compared to last time? I mean, then I ask a question around team that will help to meet that reputation that the company wants you to have. So what will be that, Or even a question like, so are your current behaviors, current things that's happening in your department, in your team, helping to promote that image that the organization wants? And what is it that they don't want? What is it that then you want to give in to commit to, you know what I mean, or something like that? Then I build a charter. So it's always a plan that you have, a deliverable, and from there you ask all those questions to build that. So it's not a question that you ask with no purpose, no. There's always towards building up of something, that you are doing, You know what I mean? That's team coaching, So we are here today, okay, let's build a team charter together. Or we are here today to set up some, formalize some good working process. We formalize it, okay? So the formalized work process will lead to question that you want to ask. A typical question is, what is the current work process? You probably want to ask that, right? And then from there, it's like you move on. How effective is this to the organization? Is it delivering on the goods? Or so I'm there on organization, so I can move up and down. You follow? So it's always based on something that you want to develop in the team coaching, and not just a general session with no deliverable. What is that? Nothing. So when it comes to team coaching, your deliverable is more important than the deliverable that you have in group coaching. In group coaching, at least for Ellie as well, Ellie, when you're in group coaching, your deliverable can be things like to be able to conduct a session with somebody with no problem for at least half an hour or 2 hours. You make that kind of competency kind of a deliverable, you know what I mean? But for a team, because usually team coaching is like on the organization. So organization is always based on systems, and procedures and processes, You know what I mean? And when the system is up, okay, let's say whatever the system is, team charter, then we train, we coach these people that we have who have built the team charter on how they can actually honor and live by the team charter, What are the kind of behaviors, the actual thing they need to do, for it, Then we educate them to use the system. But we got to have the system up first before we do that. Okay, you understand that? Now, those of you who have gone through the CPC program, the CPC, you can still recall, action confirmation. Do you still remember the protocol? Trial, contract, discovery, deep learning. Yeah, deep learning. That's the question. So all the questions that you're asking right now to this guy at the 5 levels, you actually at deep learning to come up to finalize the action formation, which is in a form of a deliverable. Cindy should remember, you did quite a bit of the CPC. So it's actually executive coaching, you're right. But it's just that this is not done with one person, this is done with a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And
with a bunch of them, let's it is not just say 5 persons, not just the 5 person, but also the 6 person as the team person, right?
Yeah, and these team members are also from different team. You got content team people down there. You also have got the other people, the other team people also in there, you know. So there's a lot more demand on the team coach than a personal coach. The personal coach, you know, you deal with one person is simple, no. Make a mistake, you can kind of always rectify, you know. Okay, does it make sense now?
Yeah, so this part on systemic mindset, it's actually about listening, where in one-on-one coaching, you have 3 different levels of listening. You know, the level 1, the pasar malam, and the level 2 and the level 3. So in here, the listening, it is the 5 levels of listening.
No, it's not 5
Correct,
levels
no?
of listening. No, it's
No, 5
any
levels of
level.
discovery, 5 level of discovery and getting the perspective, getting the input to build your deliverer.
Yeah, of course.
So for
It's towards
team
that.
coaching, in any discovery or deep learning phase, you always apply these 5 levels.
Yeah, better lah. I mean, better lah. I mean, it's not like you must always, but the more level you go to, then the person have a more holistic view. I mean, it's just that somebody who wants something, you always ask the question, who else agree with you? Straight away, we are on interpersonal already, you know. Who else agree with you? Or rather, I want to do this, okay, and it's all personal. The more you ask, who else agree with you, you're already taking the person to another level already. And we must be doing that all the time, actually, you know, even when we're in personal coaching. So our personal coaching skills should improve because of our group and team coaching skills that we have right now to think in a systemic manner. No? Okay.
So this systemic level that you have just taught us is applicable even in executive coaching one-on-one.
Oh yeah, oh yo,
It-
you know, can you imagine like this Cindy, you're coaching a CEO, you have to apply all the 5 levels lah.
Yeah, because I
You know what I mean?
remember you
Oh.
taught us that time you didn't use the word systemic, it was the eco questions.
Yeah,
When we studied in CBC,
Yeah,
we had the
yeah.
eco questions. So it was one whole lump, eco questions, but now in this systemic
Yeah.
model, we have broken it down into 5 levels.
Yeah, and you can apply that, you know, in almost any kind of situation. Yeah, so you are just coaching at a high level. The facilitating skills are much more wider, and you help people with innovation because of that. But basically, is that lah. Okay, so these are the 5 things, the 5 levels. I think we spent quite a bit of time here already. So let me just. I won't spend much. Let me skip all these things here. Okay. Oh, we are going to get into this, but the third part of the culture. Shall we take a break? Are you okay to continue, or you want a break?
Yes, break will be good.
Take a break lah.
Yeah.
10 minutes break lah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's say come back at 3:35.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
And team. So yes, you're teaching, but I'm also wondering how we can get us to contribute more to the process so that we can all learn. You can learn, we can learn, and you have to do
Yeah.
less work.
So why is that? Why is that? Like,
Is what?
like, when you ask a question like, can you come up with questions at the organization level, or questions, here, there. It takes a while, for you to come out. And many times I have to zoom in more than I zoom out, which is something that I wish is more equal in the sense that the half. But no deployment, because I know it's a new thing altogether, and it could be a new area altogether whereby you kind of like trying to get yourself
We were
used to
digesting.
it. I mean,
I think definitely what Cindy's saying, the digestion part, I think, which is very apt for how she's feeling, the poor lady. But also, I think some of it is around context. Until we really kind of understand what the context is, it's much harder for us to answer the question, for example. And for me, I'm usually the last to say anything in most sessions anyway, unless I'm running them. So I don't usually answer anyway, because I need time to think about things and kind of work it out. But I think for me anyway, sometimes what would help is there was greater context. So you've given us context. I mean, so for me, I'm not saying I'm speaking on behalf of anybody else, but like, let's just say we took one of these examples, Power Plus or Maxwell. Those weren't our case studies, and although you asked us to read it, it just takes a while to sort of kind of get used to the dynamics and whatever else, right? So then it takes a while to think about it. And yes, you've given us that context, but in terms of the context of how to apply things like this systemic team culture, I think what would be helpful for me, and I'm not saying you've not done it well, it's just I don't know how, maybe I'm a little bit
it can
slow
be done
to
better, I know.
the context of the systemic culture, what that would look like in order for us to have better
Okay,
answers for you.
you read me well. I'm going to show you something, during the break, I think I was kind of like thinking of your question, and I want to show you something here now. This is really thinking and thinking of the 5 levels, and it's like if you can apply that to many areas of our life, whether it's an executive coaching or whether you're helping people to come up with a system, it will always be better because we are always taking a holistic view to it. So what I did was this. I took the learning proposal, the learning program itself. Right? Where is it? Yeah. Can you see? Applying the systemic process in developing a learning program. But look at this first. The design thinking part, the systemic thinking, not design thinking at this level. Okay. Like for instance, if you're on reputation and purpose, it's always about the learning goal. And when you're on objectives and deliverables, okay, it's usually related to your organizational objective. Learning areas because we are learning together, so we are doing that as a team. Learning activities are things that we do. We will do the interaction that comes under learning activities. Personal one will come into things like your commitment, reflection sheet, your accountability, your field work, and so forth. So this could also represent, in other words, a learning structure that uses systemic thinking. Let me put it properly. What I'm trying to say is this: we can almost like use this systemic thinking to apply to many things. And once we have this and this, we will know how to ask our question. Like at the end of this whole program, what do you want to be? Or what do you want the organization to be? Or what is the organizational bigger purpose of it all? So we are on reputation and purpose, and the rest follow. And we use the student structure to develop a program using this method of systemic thinking in it. Does it make sense?
No, I didn't quite follow that, Mike. I'm really sorry. Could you just say that again for me?
It's like saying if you are developing a program, and your program will have 5 parts to it. Okay. First is the learning goal, okay, and the deliverables, and the what you call, of course, after deliverable is your learning areas, and also of course you can put in the content as well under the C. Okay. And then you have activities to carry out the learning to ensure that to enable the learning, you have learning activities, whether you have one-to-one coaching or field work or this or shadow coaching, whatever it is, okay? That will come under learning activities. And they follow in that sequence. And at the end of it all, in the learning, in group coaching or team coaching, there's always this thing called accountability or commitment, whichever, or accountability and commitment. Okay, these 5 areas. And these 5 areas can be superimposed. That means now, if I were to use systematic thinking, I can develop a training program with this structure. When I'm doing what you call a proposal, I can also use this, what you call this format, this way of thinking. That's what I'm trying to say. We can actually use that for many purposes. Not 100% fit, but I think like 80-90%, you can actually use the systemic thinking to structure out a program, a proposal, even content for that matter. Does it make sense now? Team?
No, I didn't really understand that relationship.
Is there someone who can help me to explain this? If you know where I'm coming from.
Michael, you show back the slide. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is like the learning goal. The learning goal is actually the higher purpose of why we have the program. So the ultimate goal, we upfront it as the learning goal. So in your proposal, you can actually put this as the outcome or the deliverable, the end deliverable. The objectives and the deliverables, the objective is actually why we have the program, because it's organizational objective as to why we need the program. So the organizational objective is stated in B. Then for team learning, for interaction, it is at the team level, the learning areas.
Because they're learning together.
Yeah, and then the interpersonal is learning activities, how you relate if especially if the module involves like interpersonal or whatever, where you involve interpersonal activities, or the learning context is at interpersonal level. And then at the personal level is what you want to put in and what you want to be accountable for at the end of the program, because it's very personal.
You know what I mean? It's like you can use this format to develop a team or a group coaching program.
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks Joe, thanks Mike for explaining that. Do you think that is that a bit tenuous? I mean, are you just because there's 5 on each side, a learning goal doesn't necessarily mean it's at that highest level, reputational or purpose, right? And a commitment may not be at a personal level either. It could be at an organization.
Yeah, of course. You can you can see it from another way altogether. But what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to show how these two sides synchronize. That's all. You know what I mean? So that when we develop anything, you know what I mean, we always have this thing in mind. The things of the big picture, we will always want to do first. And the thing at the lower level, we call it the small picture things like learning activities, commitment. These are things that we call it the what do you call the smaller
level.
picture, the micro level will be the second stage. But the first stage is always about goals and objectives and strategies. It's just like what systematic thinking is, at the higher level of reputation and organization, it's always about strategies. But when it comes down to interpersonal and personal, these are more the smaller picture of things. And that applies to anything in life anyway. Basically, that's what I'm trying to show.
great. Okay, thanks.
Well, I don't think I've explained that well, but I hope to explain to you again. All right. So just systemic thinking. Now we come to this part called the agility practices. Now, so you have 7 down there. Slow down to speed up. Adopt curious inquiry. So as a coach, we've got to be really, really curious. And when you say slow down to speed up, we've got to be very strong with helping people to reflect. They slow down, they reflect, they pause, they think back, you know. Okay, that's one key area that anyone who has got a what you call agile mindset would have. And curious inquiry, you know, always thinking of how to challenge the system, how to what you call do things in a better way, and all that. So that's another area there to take note of. And number 3, embrace iterative approaches here. Means, in other words, we do one thing at a time, step by step. Okay, and keep improving the step. Okay, an example of an iterative approach is what you have just done in module 1 and 2. You know, first come up with the team name, then come up with your structure, and then after that build the program design, and so forth and so forth before you get onto the part. So it's always a step at a time. It's either the easier one that we do in the beginning, or whatever it is, we will always do things on one at a time and keep improving it, okay, for things to be better. So questions like, typical question a coach asks at this level would be what? Questions like, what is something that we can start off with? You know, that will be one of those kind of things that we use. What is one prototype that we can actually use for this? So these are all the iterative approaches where we keep improving the system. Number 4, collaborate and communicate, which is, you know, it will always be there as long as there's group coaching and team coaching. This thing is a given thing. And then number 5, the growth mindset, which is very much tied to curious inquiry. Okay, when we are curious, we'll foster that mindset. And then, of course, develop maturity in complexity. We have the ability to break down big tasks into small ones. Okay, and number 7 is about giving and holding space, finding opportunities for people to experiment, to take risks. And it's okay. And we have got a tolerance for them to make mistakes, because they have to learn that, to practice that, to become better and better and better. So these are the 7 agility practices that we will try to always use in the way when we are doing presentation. But let me show it. Oh, I'm still not on the. Let me put it onto the. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So these are the seven things that we do to be agile. Now, what is okay? Maybe I should ask this question earlier. What is agility practices here? What does agility here mean? When we say that we are agile, what does that mean actually?
Flexibility in thinking.
Yep, that's for one. Flexibility. Another one. Flexible. We are flexible. It's very, very important. We can change our program, you know, the timing of our program, whatever that we are doing, we can change. You know, we don't want to have, we can't be having like everything just like a trainer would have. Every material is like all laid down there, and they just got to complete whatever is completed. But in the case of group coaching and team coaching, there has to be that flexibility. Enough details, but not too much detail as well to allow for that. What else?
Growth mindset, balanced, open to diversity.
Say again.
Balanced, open to diversity.
Yeah. Very accepting. You're comfortable with Diversity.
growth mindset, dynamic,
Yep. A growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. What else?
I think for the word agile, it means like quick, right? Fast, right?
Yeah. So what is fast? Yep. That's right. So here the fast refers to what fast?
change, ability to change.
Okay, that's one aspect of looking at it. Another aspect,
Our
you start with that.
our thinking,
So, which one?
our thoughts.
Our thoughts. What about our thoughts?
So it's the ability to respond to changes in the situation fast.
Yeah. Response time to situation, adapting, modifying. Okay, another one, resilience, to wake up from a failure fast. So that's the speed that we will require to have. So and then you are agile. Okay. So those things that we have, the 7 things there, would help us and also help our members, our team members to learn agility, which is very important for that kind of mindset. Yeah, these are all things that are really, really important, especially after the pandemic. Now, let me show you some of those things here. I think you have the question. Slow down to speed up. Proactiveness. You focus the team on the challenges ahead and how to deal with them. You create space for desired behavioral norms. What does that mean? Okay, so these are areas. So as a coach, we need to have the question. So what would be questions that we ask in any of the 4? Let's say we take the first one here. Focus the team on the challenges ahead. Which milestone is that? Which milestone is that in the 10 milestone? If you still remember the 10 milestone, where the milestone that we talk about challenges.
Clarifying,
No,
challenging,
no. We ask a challenging question in this milestone. Typically,
co-create,
no.
Discovery.
Which one?
Discovery.
Which one?
Discovery.
Discovery. Yeah, if you're using the protocol, we talk about that. But if you're using the milestone, which milestone do we use? Continue milestone.
continue.
The continue milestone. We always ask the question, what might be a challenge along the way? Okay, that's where we want our coaches to slow down. Because he's acting, he's not thinking hard enough. So we get them to slow down. So what might be a challenge, what do you call, along the way, and how can you overcome it? Okay. Next question. Create space for the desired outcome. What does that mean? When you say create space, what normally would be a question that the coach asks?
What is a different behavior that you can do?
Okay, that's a question. It's a good question, but it doesn't have the element of creating space. Okay, create space here Means, in other words, there are things like pause. There are things like silence. Okay. So if you want the coachee to pause, you want the coachee to think deeply. How would you ask your question?
What is another way of looking at it?
Before you ask a question,
Would you like to take a pause and
yes,
think
that's
about?
right. Can you take a pause right now and think about this? That's right. So we create space. So in our team coaching sessions and all that, we do that. I mean, even in normal sessions where we do check in and check out, that is actually creating space for our coaches. So there must always be those moments for it, reflection moments. Okay, third one, clear your own mind to see the way forward. Any question towards that? When the mind is muddled, the mind is unclear, and you want to help them to clear their mind, what will be your question?
In addition to everything that you've considered so far, what else might be available to you?
What else? Be available. Okay, I'd like you to ask your question from inquiry perspective as opposed to exploratory perspective, if you know what I mean. Inquiry. Lesser on finding solution, because that's why people speed up, because they are always going out to look for solution. Now we are not asking them to look for solution. So questions will be like what? Those who have done the CMC should remember this question. What is clearer to you now compared to a while ago? What is clearer to you now? Team, what is clear to you now after spending half an hour on this? Okay, you get them to appreciate the clarity that they have gained. Okay, so these are language that we like to put into our group and team coaching. Okay, D, provide greater clarity and purpose to the team. What would be questions that helps them to take a step back to revisit? Okay, this is a question that you can actually use the reputation or the purpose level of systemic thinking. Anyone? Just try lah. I'll put into a chat so can. Joe, you jump in also, Joe.
Mm.
You also jump in lah. Okay, a question that we ask. Okay, I want to ask you this question. A question that we ask when we're taking our clients through the wheel of life. You know, there are 10 areas down there. Family, relationship, love, health, work, money, blah, blah, blah. So how do we help someone to chart their wheel of life? So that's the question on this.
So you mean that we kind of like get them to identify some purposes and then they scale it?
To identify, sometimes to remind them as well. Because they are moving. Many times, we have to remind people of their goal again. They're forgotten, no. Too many things happen, they lose track, no. So a question will be like, what? What is most important as a Christian? Just a Christian. What is most important for your team now? Okay. Just a question to slow down, to speed up. Okay, so we got to have the Christian because our Christian that help people to slow down. If you don't have a Christian that people don't slow down, you need to visit. Okay, adopt curious inquiry. Two's done for you already. The coach says, I'm a bit stuck here. I don't have the answer. Do you have the answer? Like, I really do not know the answer. I'd like to hear from you. Okay, curious inquiry, because you believe in them. Or you pick up signals. You notice as you are listening to this person, somebody else is behaving or having a body language that kind of like make you curious. And then you ask the question, so why is that? Then listen and to know what further cues are revealed. Now, what other questions can we ask when we are curious? Questions that are curious. Take the Maxwell case. Take the PAMCO case. Take whichever one. Or Power Plus. Think of those questions. Think of the 3 cases. Then think of a curious inquiry question. Any question. Because what you're trying to do is you want to build, right? You want to build a system for them. You want to take them forward. You want to help them have a deliverable. Then you want to help them to find permanent solution. You know what I mean? So you as a coach, your question must be very provocative. No, if your question are just simple questions like, so what are the steps we can take? What shall we do now? Those very standard type of exploratory question, we probably won't get far. And if you're too much into the solution or the exploring type of question, then we don't actually how shall I say provoke the kind of a curiosity. Curiosity is always provoked by inquiry. When
Let's
people
say
ask
for the-
inquiry question,
let's say for the PAMCO case, can I ask, I am wondering or I am curious, how were you all communicating before you became a team together?
okay, how were you communicating before you came together?
Because they were
Okay,
a cross-functional team or something like that.
okay, you can ask that, but let's say they give you an answer. I mean, it's all right. As an inquiry question, it's okay. You probably get an answer. But the question right now is this: does your inquiry question allow you to get something from the answer where you can use to build the system, or build the plan, or build the charter, or build whatever it is now, you know what I mean? Not?
It
So-
depends on
so-
their responses.
Yeah. Okay, let's say you ask me this question. How do you come together, or how do you communicate before you came together? Is that the question?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, let's say I say that let's say that how do you communicate? Oh, at that time we were just colleagues, but we were not like depending on one another to carry out a part of our role. We were just friends, so we were very easy with one another because we didn't have any expectation on anyone. They didn't expect from us, we didn't expect from them, because we never worked. We had never worked together before. We were just friends, lunch friends, going out for meals together. Okay, what would you do with that answer? I probably answer that way because you got to build no. So you may get an answer, but it'd be good if that answer leads to something where you can use and extract to build that whatever that the team coaching assignment is for you to build.
I hear the word expectations. So
Okay.
would you like to tell me more?
No expectation. In other words, we don't have to depend on me. I don't have to depend on you. We were not then interdependent on one another. Only now. That's why we're not talking to one another so well. Then I'll probably give you the answer, no? But good try, good try. At least we're doing that. Now, one other question, just my where you can get some building blocks to build something for them would be like, so when were times when you all really had a great time working with one another? There were no issues, there were no problems, and everything was going well. When was that time? Okay, then give me a time, whatever it is. Next question is like, how was that possible? What did you all do to make that possible? Okay, they give an answer. Now, third question, how can you use part of that to build this so-called collaboration system or communication system for our organization? So I pick up something from there. So curiosity, a curious inquiry, to look for times where the problem did not happen. Okay? Just an example. So we as a coach, we want to have more of that kind of a quality. Yeah? Okay, and then let's look at the third one here. Embrace iterative approaches. Okay, let me put it down here. Deliver incremental value and seek continuous improvement. Either one. Take any of the cases. Take any of the cases. Please, please do think. Please do think. Because when we are facilitating, we got to be able to ask those kind of questions. Take the tree and just ask any question that can be used for A, B, or C.
What are the steps would you apply to make that happen?
Okay, what are the steps you can take to make this happen? Okay, or what are some small steps you can take to make it happen. Because if it's meant to, like, go for the small one first, then we ask them, all things like what would be some easy thing that we can start doing first. And then, how can we further improve on it? Okay. Anything else? Where is one place we can start doing it now? Okay. What about C? Iterative feedback and reflection for the team to adapt and refine their approaches. So what kind of question? Remember, we are asking for small ones, just small ones.
What went well?
What went well? Okay, what went well? Should I say actually? What went well? Yeah, okay, let's say I say this. We we are less confrontational to one another now than before. That's what's the next question. You must follow up, no?
All right.
As
What made
discussed
the
earlier
difference
already, the
between
testing is
then and
ongoing,
now?
and I'm
What
drafting
made the
letter to
difference?
MOT, as discussed as well, on the late testing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think ongoing, can't say much more.
Yeah, sorry. What's the difference? The difference is, yeah, we are a little bit more accommodating to one another as opposed to confrontational. Next question.
Can you, what do you mean by more accommodating behavior? What behaviorally do you mean by?
No, that means less conflict, lah. Less conflict, basically less conflict, less swearing. Okay. And then you still need to go back to this question. What is something there that we can do now to bring about what you call better order in our relationship from what they have described? And that something get documented as, okay, so we are all going to do this because it has proven that when we do this one single thing, like for instance, saying thank you to someone, just say that's iterative approach. Just do that. Saying the thank you would actually help to diffuse a lot of ugly situation. Okay, example of that. So you must always go back to a building of something, okay, and not just asking to get answers, but we cannot use and build. So we want to ask questions where we can get them to generate the response and use that to build. It got to be to build. If you cannot build, then the question may be wasted. Okay, and iterative feedback would be, what is one feedback that we want to hear from our stakeholder? One feedback, just one. So you just aim for that one feedback. Rather, I want 10 feedback, but you just go for that one most important one, and with that become like the one that will be relying on. Okay, so that's what I mean by iterative approaches. The single thing, the smallest thing, the simplest thing, the one thing. Okay, these are all iterative approaches. Okay, collaborate and communicate. Okay, question. Now you're talking about the team, whether it's the PAMCO team or whether it is the Power Plus team. Okay, they all have issues relating to culture of openness and trust. So what will be your question here? Because that's important. Without that, we won't be able to achieve much.
Yeah, this is in the list as well. We stopped the profs from having any presentation, so it's in the list with Romesh.
Peter, are you talking to me?
Pressure him to finally review it and give us an audience that we can have the workshop. The problem is I cannot send the documents officially, so it's like dragging and dragging with these guys.
Okay, he's talking to someone else. Okay, the rest. Typical question. A culture of openness and trust in the team.
Huh?
Peter, Peter. I think Peter was talking to
Someone
somebody else,
mute
right?
him.
Of course, yeah.
Can someone mute him? Like whoever's in control of the Zoom page.
Oh, okay. Let me try to.
I think in the top right corner of his, if you go to the top right corner of his
Exactly.
picture,
As long
the 3 dots. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Wait,
It's done. It's done.
Done, huh? Okay. We have to sharpen our question continuously. Okay, a question will be what? What is something that we all agree to do for more openness in our team? All, okay? All of us, what is one thing that we all want to do to build a better trust in the organization? What is the single thing that will make everybody trust one another? What do we want to agree for us to build the trust and openness in the organization? Okay, any of those kind of things. Okay, just collaboration. We all, those kind of words. Huh? What about facilitate regular meetings? And that's for communication. So what kind of question can we ask on this that has a relationship to collaboration and communication? Typical question. How often should we meet? And what will be the key purpose of our meeting? What do we want to communicate when we meet? Okay, I mean, it can be any of those kind of things. Huh? Communicating the issues that we still have, the bottleneck and all that, okay, and coming up with ways to solve them. Collaborate and communicate. Okay, I really want to see you all asking your question. Huh? Okay, let's look at number 5. See what number 5 has here. Okay, foster a growth mindset. Okay, and you want to do that for the team members. What will be your question? You are in a session right now with them, and the session is over. Okay, and you want to do it. You want to do one or more of this thing. What will be your question?
So what did you all take away from our time together today?
Okay, that is one question. What's your takeaway from this session? Okay, for someone who really go into his mind and think of takeaway, that means in other words, this person is very curious to find out what he has learned. Okay, that's good. Another question? I throw in one. Where are the opportunities for you to apply our learning? For our learning, where can we apply them? Where are the opportunities for us to use it? Okay, foster growth mindset. Now, name. Another one. Create a safe space, safe, supported environment for experimentation, risk-taking, learning from failure.
What should we agree upon to create a psychological safe space in our team?
You're referring to which question? Second one,
B.
A or
B.
You're B. Can you repeat the question again and make it shorter?
Yeah. What can we agree upon to create psychological safety?
What can we agree on to create psychological safety
in our team?
Okay, they say that again. There should be room for failure. So your next question would be, what are the failures that we are prepared to tolerate, and which are the ones that we will try to avoid? Okay, typical question. What is a small risk that you're prepared to take? Learning from failure. What are you learning from this failure? Okay, plus the one that Tim talks about, psychological safety and all that. But maybe just drop the word psychological, no? Tim, and just ask safety and that's it, no? The lesser would the better. Okay, reflect on the successes and challenges and celebrate achievement. Christian, we want to encourage people to grow, no? So we as a coach, we want to be able to create that kind of space for them. Now, what question do you ask here to promote the growth mindset? Come on, team. Come on, group. I mean, Nizam, Annie,
Thinking, Mike.
huh? Still thinking, this question are all questions that we were using when we were at CAC and CPC, you know. Yeah, we are just basically rehearsing and repeating those questions that we learned at CAC, you know. Ali, you got any question there? Let me show you. Reflect on their successes and challenges. When do we ask that? When do we do that? Which milestone do we do that? Reflect on success and challenges. Usually. Milestone, those of you who have gone through the CCA program, okay, Annie, okay, you're forgiven. Annie didn't go to us, right? He went through, okay, you're forgive, you're excused for that. Okay, 10 milestone, where? Where do we ask that question?
Is it change, Mike? No.
Change? Not so.
Check.
Check, that's right. Check or close. Right? We always ask, what's your learning of yourself? And using the team question, so, and what are your takeaway? What do you always want to remember? We ask that. What do you always want to be grateful for? Where else can you apply your learning? So these are all the questions, and they are still good questions to ask in team and group coaching, you know. Okay. Okay, so these are the things that help to foster that mindset. Number 6, develop maturity in complexity. Let me just put it all out here, and you think of any question that you can ask in this area. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you pick up any one and then you ask a question. You want them to break down the the complex matter into smaller bits. And you want to develop their maturity in thinking. Everybody, please try to have one question.
Where do you want to start first? Which you want to start first?
Where or which you want to start first? Okay, Ken, you break down a task, okay, in small bits. So it's also iterative approach. Fine. Okay, another one.
What were the expect outcome?
What will, okay, that question, no lah.
What has that experience taught you?
What has this experience taught you? Okay, that more sounds like more like of a foster a growth mindset. No?
Mm.
Yeah, that's more on growth mindset. Huh? Maturity in thinking. Let's say you take one. Think systematically from different perspective. Taking one of the case studies. Okay, I give you one. What are the different ways we can collaborate? Okay, different ways of collaborating. Okay, that's one question. Because you make them see it from different perspective. Okay, another one.
What challenges might we face?
What challenges might we face? Okay, if let's say I say this, it's still not over yet, huh? Because you're just asking for challenges. The challenges of people not collaborating. The challenges that not everybody will collaborate. What's the next question to this?
How can we ensure that the practices of today are taken into consideration?
Okay, the question is this, we're going to be tight. You asked me a question. What was the question, Karen? Forgotten already.
What challenges might we face?
Yeah, what challenge might we face? So my answer to you is, the challenge I face is like not everybody will agree with the change.
Who is that?
Sorry?
Who is that?
Who are they?
Who are they? Yes.
Yeah, the people from the social media, the people from content, the people from the creative side.
So can you give me one name?
Oh, then we go personal, yeah. Ali.
Oh.
Then? No. We are going down to the personal side already. So we have to stay at the organization, or at least, at the team level already, our thinking. Because we are building, when we build, we're going to take it at least at a team level or an organization level already. You follow what I'm trying to say? So when I say an Ali and an Akao and all that, then we are going down to the personal side already. Then what happens, okay? Ali. Then? So a bit too down, stay somewhere in the middle. Okay, maybe a question like, okay, so, but what is one thing that everybody can agree on? obvious thing that all can agree. Let's say it's like we all can go home early, okay? So that is something that everybody agrees. Simple, very simple. We break down a confrontational situation to find for some ray of light and build on that. Okay. If you are on E, see your contribution to the whole. The whole can be to the team or to the organization. So what will be your question?
How you can contribute?
How you can contribute, or what is your contribution? What is your contribution to the situation, or to the goal, or to the problem? Also can your contribution to it. So we break it down. So everybody is contributing something towards it. Yeah. So the 5 and 6 they are almost they're almost overlap.
Mike, could you give sorry, I missed a bit there. Did you give an example for D? I was particularly curious about an answer to
Manage
D.
emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like saying like, can you slow down? Can you take a pause? Can you think for a moment? Can you slow down? So these are things that you actually ask them. Can you take a deep breath? Can you slow down? Okay, those are things that we do. Okay. Can the team slow down a little? You know, the team is getting very hot. Yeah, and you actually go there and tell them, or in a way instruct them to slow down,
Is
to
there
take a pause.
is there an empathetic element to this? You're so caught up in your own, you're so associated in yourself, and you're not thinking about how others might be.
So are we empathetic? You mean? Yeah, the coach, of course. The coach notices the coach notices it. The coach notices it that what they call temperature is high, or somebody is reacting very badly to some comment, and the coach notice, and the coach go in there and ask that person to do that. Give and hold space. Oh, I think this is quite straightforward. Huh? Zoom out to encourage the team to think and ask the right question. That means, in other words, you don't provide the answers. You ask them in the form of a question. It can be a simple question like, what do you think? You know what I mean? Hold the structure for the right behavioral norm. Example, you know what I mean? Minimizing interruption. There are just too many interruptions going on. And then, of course, you minimize the interruption by asking questions like, can you allow, Cindy to finish what she say first before you come in? It can be as simple as that. Can we stop talking to ourselves and listen? And then, of course, the other thing is bottom lining. Okay, so let's bottom line. The few things that came out from this discussion that we can use to build our system: A, B, C, D. Okay, so that is called, bottom lining. Yeah? Appoint someone as a thinking facilitator. What does that mean? A thinking facilitator. What is it? What is a thinking facilitator for?
To facilitate thinking.
Facilitating?
Thinking.
How? Okay, good. How How does this person do that?
One way to do it can be brainstorming.
Yeah, brainstorm. So this guy is in charge. He goes in and he just help people to think. Okay, assisting you. You are doing that, of course, but you also have someone else who act like Cindy acting with me as well. So Cindy may just throw in one or two things of her ideas, and then after that, okay, I've thought already on it. What do you think? So helping the main facilitator to actually get people to think.
Can we
Okay,
actually get someone from the group or the team?
Yeah. You always can do that. Or it can also be where if let's say there are three teams down there, in the case of I think you mentioned Maxwell or someone, like for instance, this session, the content department will take the lead. Okay, and you lead the discussion and all these things, and the next meeting, the next one, another team will take the lead, and they become like the thinking facilitator. They're like your assistant to assist you in thinking, rather than the whole thing is dependent on you. Everybody is like now, okay, like right now, everybody is like, there's no leader right now. I'm the only leader. That's why I thought like Joe can help me. Okay, so Joe can also like, I mean, she was doing that in a way, trying to explain and ask some question and all that. So, I mean, in a impromptu manner, I mean, that she can be one. I mean, or anyone can be one. So you have an assistant to help the thinking of the group. Yeah, so that's that. Agility. Let me just stop in here for a while. Okay. Now, why do we need to do that? We need to do that because thinking to have a thinking mind. For many people, especially now we have all this AI and all this thing, people are not really thinking very much of themselves. So we want to be, a partner to actually help people to have a more agile mindset. They apply critical thinking. They are people who reflect, and I mean, they are people who can slow down, but not just moving forward and forward and forward and forward and forward. So as a coach, we want to help people to have that kind of, tolerance, the kind of patience, the kind of a mental strength, the kind of mindfulness, in them, so that will actually help them, to grow in their role, in their job. Hi, Saufan. Saufan is back. Okay, so that's that on agility. Christian, there's a new topic called idea creation generation. I think this one we will do that tomorrow. We do that. I think we are done. We are done for today already in terms of the learning.
The agility practices are just as applicable for one-on-one coaching.
Oh yeah, definitely. When you're doing mastery coaching, or when you are a master coach, we have a lot of time where we actually uses a lot of agility practices. When clients say things like, I don't know, client, coach, sometimes, it could be just a one question, think, just that word, think, rather, how can you find a solution? What makes it impossible for you to find a solution? Okay, this is actually like, we are just moving along with the coachee. So sometimes we don't have to say a word, we just use silence, and we just get people into a more reflective state for them to strengthen themselves for mindfulness and all that. So in group coaching also we do that. In team coaching also we do that. So we are coaching a number of people as opposed to coaching one. So it's actually many of the things are like, we multiply from the personal one into the team and the group, situation. So therefore, we are not like a trainer. We'll just keep training and moving forward. So we do a lot of that exercise. Why? Because when people are agile and all that, they become more creative. When we rush them and they try to do too many things at one time, then people don't become creative to come up with solutions. I mean, just like the cases that we have, whether it's PAMCO or Power Plus, we got to get into a situation where we actually help them to think, So we got to create the kind of environment for them to think. Otherwise, nothing is going to come out from the session, That's what it means, huh? Peter, can you hear me, Peter? Just now we muted you because
Yes, sir.
you were having your conversation with
Yeah,
somebody.
I was I was in a scolding session with my boss, so yeah, it
Oh.
happens. I will send him to your courses in future, how to deal with people in a meeting.
Okay. So let's do a recap, a checkout. So what's your takeaway from today? Everything around systemic culture or environment.
For me, I think that systemic model was very enlightening, because like I said, years ago, it was always eco-based questions and all that, but it wasn't categorized into
Structured.
not
Okay.
structured. And
Yep.
now that it's a lot more clearer on how to ask the eco questions.
Okay. Yeah, that's really, really useful. Meta viewing, when we take people at the reputation and at the organization level, especially, we're actually getting our people to meta view already. So when we go into the interpersonal and the personal, that's where, people are at the ground level of things. Yes, they are important, but we have to raise our coaches' mind to see a bigger picture, put them on a helicopter.
We
What else?
probably have been doing it. I think most of us here online would have been doing it, but we didn't have a name to it.
Yeah. And maybe doing it and then not in a structured way, maybe in a bit of a haphazard way, but not what they call, taking one from the other, like in coaching, sometimes we do this. We ask them question, why do you want more money? And the guy say, I want more money because I can buy a lot of things. And when you can buy a lot of things, then what do you get? Or they say that, oh, then I'll be very happy. And when you are happy, what will you get? We do the scaling question. So this is also another example of systemic thinking, when you lead one to the other. Why do you want this goal? I want this goal because I want to have a job. And what will you get when you have the job? You're getting higher already. Then I would be, purposeful. And when you are purposeful, what do you get? So we are actually raising that. So the same thing, you do a systemic thinking or question, you also can build them from a ground level and take them to the highest level. And these are things that we do in coaching as well. Scaling up the question. Scaling up the question.
In the CAC syllabus, it's the self-awareness model, the self-awareness raising model, where you use the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
The environment and the
the behavior
identity
and then identity and then So that's a systemic model. Thanks. Yeah, that's a systemic model by itself. Ability to scale up the question so you see a bigger thing. What else? Let's contribute to the pool with a growth mindset. Let's adopt a mindset and ask ourselves, what is it that something that I pick up, that's useful for me in my journey to be, or in my journey to be a team coach, a group coach.
I think for me, like Cindy, I quite like the systemic approach. I think it just needs to embed a little bit more in my head to sort of see it contextually. And on that note, I have an ask, and I don't know if others would like to see this or not, is actually to see this played out. So like some of these questions. One of the reasons why I slightly struggled to answer today was I couldn't really get the context, because sometimes some of the answers were as if we were in the team, and then sometimes some of the answers were as if we were the team coach. So I wondered if it would be helpful for everybody tomorrow or something like that to sort of see it in action, and or if we can even find a script somewhere to see some of these features, how that applies.
That's a good one. So Karen, are you saying that I don't know. I don't know whether this will help. If you take one case study, any of the three, and go deep into it and reflect on it, so that we are all on one case study as opposed to three case study, would that help to, get us to be clearer on one context as opposed to trying to do it for all the three?
Sure. I mean, look, we've all got 3 different ones, but I think there were 4 case studies, right? So I wonder, I mean, this is solution finding, which nobody's asking for, but let's just say, to not bias one group or another, we pick the one that nobody picked. And
Okay.
we just systematically go through it
Okay.
tomorrow, just to sort of
Okay.
to
Yeah.
showcase it, because then I
Okay.
think it might embed it for everybody. But listen, I don't want to hijack it. If nobody agrees,
No.
then
I think it's a good
let's go
idea.
somewhere
I
else.
think that's one, because there's one case study nobody's using, the one on Brown University. Okay, the university student one. Okay, we can use that, and then we would ask ourselves the question: if we want to, let's say, develop, let's say we take it from the perspective of the context is, we want to develop a program, what do you call it, employability program, to help this final year student to get employed. What would be a program that we can design using the systemic thinking principle?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I
Okay.
don't know about the others, but it's not necessarily the design so much as today's tools and techniques that I would like to see, because some of the questions, etc., just to sort of
Yeah.
get it context.
Yeah.
The design, I'm not trying to say we're experts in by any stretch of imagination, but that's almost arguably easier to deal with. But again, please let me not hijack it. If everybody else disagrees,
No, it's okay. It's okay. Fine.
No, I think you got a very good point here. What is actually the internal team building for the proposal and then the proposal itself. But I think the proposal will come together once we actually understand how we more or less should operate as a team.
Yeah.
Then I think it's a very good point to repeat.
It's a very important thing, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's a good repetition on the course content so far to use that, I think case 4, isn't it? To really get a good example altogether. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try one and see.
I think it's a good point.
I mean, I don't know, because we've got obviously more tools and techniques to complete. So I wonder if we do that first and then do the Brown University.
Okay, we just finish. We try to finish it first, okay, and then we will choose that or some other area for greater
Is everybody
clarity.
happy with this, or am I just like Peter and I the only one? Cindy, you're good.
Karen is very concerned.
Right, Nizam,
I'm
Lloyd.
good,
Well,
Karen.
I just don't want to be
I'm good, Karen.
hijacking things.
I think it
No,
will
it's
help.
not hijacking. Okay. Oh, Lloyd is also back here. Okay. Hi, Lloyd.
Hi everyone, yeah, sorry, I joined maybe an hour and a half back when I
You
cleared the
just got back.
immigration. Yeah.
Okay. So let's, for the sake of Lloyd and also Taufan, maybe those take away and say something about it so that they could pick up something that they were not around to be exposed to. We talk about the systemic principles of the 5 levels. Okay, that's one. I think we spent quite a bit of time on that. What about the other part? We also covered the proposals, the program structure, the revision. Anything?
What about the team coaching competencies? Tomorrow when you do a case study and discuss on it, can you link the team coaching competencies to the discussion? That means wherever you are, whatever question you ask, can you link back to which part of the competencies? I don't know whether that will help.
Example?
Example, if you are at okay, the first one where you say you slow down to speed up. So you'll be asking questions like, okay, can we take a moment to reflect and all that? Okay, so what competencies is this that you are meeting if you ask that?
Okay.
So then because they will be evaluated on competencies, on team competencies. So then they know what will be missing and what needs to be improved.
Yeah. It's just like when you set the ground rules to build that environment. What competency is that in ICF? Establishing
agreement.
and maintaining agreement, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one. When you adopt curious inquiry, what competency is that?
Embodies a coach mindset.
Okay, that's one. Definitely. And another one, possibly?
Evokes awareness.
Create awareness, yeah.
Cultivate
Evoke awareness.
trust and
Cultivate trust. Cultivate trust, no, not there yet. Not there. Not there.
listen actively.
Listen actively. That's right. Okay, let's try this and see. Collaborate and communicate.
Listening.
Facilitates growth.
Which one?
Facilitates growth.
Facilitate growth.
Listening.
Yeah, in a way, but which one is more on facilitate growth? Which one? Which one will be more?
Fosters a growth mindset.
Foster a growth mindset. That
Develop
comes under
Develop maturity and complexity.
Develop maturity is in which competency? Facilitate growth lah.
Yeah.
Facilitate growth. Okay. Embrace iterative approach. Like doing one thing at a time. Like taking small steps.
Facilitate growth.
Facilitate growth, that's right. So that is facilitate growth. Give and hold space.
Give and hold space.
Evoke awareness.
Evoke awareness, that's right. Very good. Okay, done already. Okay, but now it's not just knowing the competency, naming the competency, which is important. Now it's our ability to translate that into a question, because we are coaches and we got to ask our question in a more inspiring way. You know why? Because when you have many people, it's quite tough, quite tough to stimulate people. And if your questions are not provocative enough, you're going to have a very dry session, and nothing will come, and nothing is going to happen. So our question really have to be real spot on, and we got to ask them in a way that really pushes them out of their comfort, their comfort zone to think, more deeply. All right, so dear friends, let's end the session today, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, we end the session today, and tomorrow again, 8:45, we come back. If you can read up the notes, just read up the notes so that we can have, and then link it back to your case study if you can, and tell yourself, okay, based on these learning notes, if I were to ask questions relating to my case, what would be some of those questions I can ask? If you can prepare yourself with a question, then tomorrow we will have a much more greater time together, because there'll be a lot of contribution coming from your side. Why? Because you have prepared to come up with those questions. Okay. I noticed, I don't know, I noticed that the questions are getting a bit rusty for some of you. Am I right to say that? That's just to mirror and give the feedback. So I guess you need to kind of pick that up again. And it's the demand is greater right now because you are in team coaching and not just personal coaching. Okay, so with that, I say thank you very much, dear friends. Have a good rest, especially Karen, you have woken up very early. And to the rest, a good evening. If you can, read up the notes, prepare your question, and see you tomorrow at 8:45. And selamat berbuka puasa, so it's coming on soon to our two Muslim friends.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, all right.
Bye.